Hey there, history enthusiast. Let's talk about one of the most fascinating aspects of Alexander the Great, his unparalleled military genius. Sure, we all know he conquered a massive empire, but how exactly did he do it? What made him so unstoppable on the battlefield? Was it his strategic brilliance, his ability to inspire loyalty, or just sheer audacity? Spoiler alert, it was all of the above, and then some. So grab your favorite drink, sit back, and let's break down why Alexander wasn't just a great leader. He was a master tactician whose strategies are still studied in war colleges today. Before we dive into his battles, let's set the stage. Alexander didn't become a military genius by accident. He was groomed for greatness from birth, and I mean that literally. His father, King Philip II of Macedonia, revolutionized warfare with innovations like the Phalanx, a tightly packed infantry formation armed with long spears called sarissas, and professionalized the Macedonian army. By the time Alexander took the throne at 20, he inherited not only a well-trained, battle-hardened force, but also years of mentorship under Aristotle, who taught him philosophy, science, and strategy. But what truly set Alexander apart was how he combined his education with raw ambition and instinct. He wasn't content to simply follow his father's playbook, he reinvented it. Every move he made on the battlefield showcased his adaptability, creativity, and boldness. One of Alexander's greatest strengths was his emphasis on speed and mobility. Unlike many armies of the time, which lumbered along with cumbersome baggage trains and heavy equipment, Alexander's forces moved like lightning. He kept his troops lean, carrying only essentials, and used fast-moving cavalry units to strike quickly and decisively. Take the Battle of Granicus, 334 BCE, for example. Facing a numerically superior Persian army guarding a river crossing, Alexander didn't wait for dawn to attack. He charged across the river at sunset, catching the Persians completely off guard. This kind of daring maneuver became his trademark. While other commanders might have hesitated, Alexander thrived on calculated risks, knowing that hesitation often gave enemies time to regroup. Alexander understood something crucial. No single unit could win a battle alone. Instead, he perfected the art of combined arms warfare, integrating different types of troops, infantry, cavalry, archers, and engineers, to create a seamless fighting machine. At the core of his army was the Macedonian Phalanx, a wall of soldiers wielding 18-foot-long sarissas. These formations were nearly impenetrable head-on, pinning down enemy forces. Alexander's elite cavalry, known as the Companions, acted as his hammer. Once the Phalanx locked the enemy in place, the cavalry would swing around to flank and crush them. Often led by Alexander himself, these mounted warriors struck fear into the hearts of their foes. What truly set Alexander apart was his ability to adjust tactics mid-battle. If the terrain favored light infantry, he deployed skirmishers. If siegecraft was needed, his engineers built ingenious machines to breach walls. There was no one-size-fits-all approach, just relentless innovation. Alexander didn't just win battles with brute force. He won them in the minds of his enemies before swords ever clashed. His reputation preceded him, thanks to his early victories and bold leadership style. Opposing generals often underestimated him because of his youth, but they quickly learned the hard way that this young king was unlike anyone they'd faced before. For instance, during the siege of Tyre, 332 BCE, when the city refused to surrender, Alexander constructed a causeway connecting the mainland to the island fortress, a feat considered impossible at the time. Not only did this demonstrate his engineering prowess, but it sent a clear message. Resistance was futile. When Tyre finally fell after 7 months, its destruction served as a grim warning to others who dared oppose him. Here's another reason Alexander's men would follow him anywhere. He fought alongside them. Unlike many rulers who stayed safely behind the lines, Alexander led charges personally, often placing himself in the thick of danger. At the Battle of Issus, 333 BCE, he personally led a cavalry charge straight toward Darius III, causing the Persian Emperor to flee in panic. This hands-on approach wasn't just about bravery, it was smart leadership. By putting himself at risk, Alexander inspired his troops to push harder and fight longer. They knew their king was willing to share their hardships, and that fostered fierce loyalty. Even today, leaders can learn from his example. People will go to extraordinary lengths for someone they trust and respect. What truly cemented Alexander's status as a military genius was his ability to adapt to new environments and enemies. Whether he was navigating scorching deserts, scaling mountain passes, or facing unfamiliar tactics in India, he never relied solely on past successes. Each campaign required fresh thinking, and Alexander rose to the challenge every time. Consider the Battle of Hydaspes, 326 BCE, against King Porus in India. Faced with war elephants, a terrifying sight for any ancient army, Alexander adapted his tactics. He used feints and diversions to split Porus's forces, then concentrated his attack on vulnerable points. Though victorious, this battle marked the limits of his men's endurance. Exhausted and homesick, they refused to march further east, forcing Alexander to turn back. Even geniuses have their breaking points. Beyond individual battles, Alexander's true genius lay in his ability to unify disparate cultures and peoples under his rule. After defeating the Persians, he adopted Persian customs, promoted intermarriage between Greeks and Persians, and encouraged his soldiers to embrace local traditions. This policy of cultural fusion helped stabilize his vast empire and laid the groundwork for the Hellenistic Age, a period of incredible advances in art, science, and philosophy. While his methods weren't always popular, some Macedonian veterans resented being forced to adopt foreign practices. His vision of a cosmopolitan world remains influential. It's a reminder that true leadership isn't just about winning wars, it's about building bridges. So why should we care about Alexander's military achievements over 2 millennia later? Because his strategies are timeless. Modern militaries still study his use of combined arms, rapid deployment, and psychological warfare. Business leaders apply his principles of adaptability and inspiration to navigate complex challenges. And adventurers channel his spirit of exploration and determination to push beyond perceived limits. Of course, Alexander wasn't perfect. His obsession with conquest came at a cost, both to his men and to himself. But his story teaches us that greatness isn't achieved without sacrifice, and that true genius lies in the ability to see possibilities where others see obstacles. Next time you hear someone dismiss Alexander the Great as just a conqueror, remind them of the brilliance behind his victories. From his lightning-fast maneuvers to his mastery of combined arms, from his psychological edge to his willingness to lead from the front, every aspect of his military career reflects a mind constantly calculating, adapting, and innovating. He wasn't just a warrior, he was an artist of war. Until next time, stay curious, and maybe take a page out of Alexander's playbook by tackling your own challenges with a little more audacity and creativity. Who knows? You might just achieve greatness too.